What's happening, family? It's Cast Sports again, back for another afternoon with my people. As usual, before I get started, let me give a shout out to the JBT community. Just boxing talk. Excuse me. We're a group of people that just love to talk boxing. And we're always looking for others to join us. You don't have to have a podcast or a channel or anything like that. The only requirement is you just have to love to talk boxing. Be in boxing news. Salute Aunt McQueen. Salute to Aunt McQueen. The Boxing Menu Podcast. Salute. Welcome to another episode of Cast Sports, the History Channel. This is the Tuesday afternoon edition. Sorry I'm late today. I had a little technical difficulties, but everything is ironed out now. Now today's show is going to be exactly what the title says, Boxing History. I'm going to go back to the 20s and come forward with a summary of the decade and then some highlights on some dates of things that happened in our sport during that decade, okay? So how is everybody doing this afternoon on a Tuesday? We got the fights early this week, a couple more days. It'll be Thursday. It's nice because we didn't have Pro Box this week. That Thursday boxing is right on time. It'd be nice if we could get a Thursday card every week. Or at least the weeks when we don't have Pro Box. So we'll have toward the middle of the week boxing every week. Yeah, we're going to talk boxing history today. You want history? You're going to get it today. Yeah. We're going to start with the 20s. A little summary, like I said, and then some highlights of some things that happened on certain dates in that decade. Mike Masick. Salute, bro. I got a lot of material. We might not finish it today. It might be like a 2-day thing. This little history lesson might go over the next couple of days. But we're going to get through it. That's my job, to bring you the history, not just history, just all aspects of boxing. Because you can go anywhere else and get all the information about what's happening in the ring and who's with what promotional company and, you know, who's fighting who and or who's ducking who or whatever. But you can't go everywhere and get the history. Remo. Hashtag Let's Talk Fashion. Hashtag JBT in the building. Salute Remo. Got another hashtag Let's Talk Fashion coming up tomorrow. Because it's Wednesday. Hopefully I can get Remo up here tomorrow. Well, no, today. Toward the end of the show to give us a little preview. Yeah. Yeah, because by the time I come on tomorrow, Remo will be that had his show. Yeah, so today, toward the end, yeah, like we always do every Tuesday. Remo will come up and tell us a little bit about what's happening tomorrow on hashtag Let's Talk Fashion. This will be the first episode with his new producers too, I believe. Yeah. So that's going to be interesting. Yeah, definitely don't miss this one this week. Because Remo got a couple of new producers going to be in the building with him. Yeah. I got a lot of history today, so we may not finish it today. But there's always tomorrow. Yes, sir. It's a goodie. Not an oldie, but goodie. Okay, Remo. Not an oldie, but goodie. Get my throat clear. But how is everybody doing this Tuesday afternoon? Still at the beginning end of the week. But we're gonna make it through. Anybody heard anything else from Jay Hardcore? No, he didn't come on this morning. I think it was a family emergency or something. So anybody get any information, just be sure to let us know. Miss my dose of a hangout in the morning. The day ain't the same. We got a little early Just Do Boxing today, though. So that was helpful. We didn't get to hang out, but yeah. I just caught the tail end because I didn't even know it was on. Just scrolling through like 1 o'clock and there was Just Do Boxing live. I'm having a lively conversation. Yeah. I had to get out of there though, man. Because I hate fanboard. I mean, there was a guy over there on Just Do, man. He was just, wow. It was like Bill was speaking through him. I had to get out of there, man. It was starting to give me a headache. Wow. Devin. OMG. I can't take it. I don't know how Just Do does it. Just Do is a good man because he would get the hook. I mean, with that fanboard of nonsense, man. I can't take it. That guy was too much. But let's start on this history. We're going to start in the 1920s. A little summary of what happened in that decade, and then some stuff that happened on some dates in the 20s. Okay. Y'all ready? Let's do it. Now, boxing in the 1920s was an exceptionally popular international sport, right? Many fights during this era, some 20 years away or so from the television era, still like 20 years before TV, were social events with many thousands in attendance, both men and women. Okay. World heavyweight champion Jack Dempsey dominated the sport through much of this decade, right? He won the title in 1919, keeping it until 1926. Now, he lost the title to Gene Tunney in 1926. But many of his fights were historic, such as his defense against George Carpenter, Louis Firpo, and Tom Gibbons. A fight which almost bankrupted the town of Shelby, Montana. Yeah, they didn't have enough money to pay the people. Town almost had to file bankruptcy just to pay for the fight. Reading about that, a little more detail into that yesterday. Now, his 1927 match against Tunney became known in boxing history as the long count fight. Okay, and Dempsey became a household name. And he dated and married Hollywood actresses, okay? He was, along with Babe Ruth, Red Grange, Bill Tilden, and Bobby Jones, one of the so-called Big Five of sports, back around that time, yeah. Now, other important boxers around that time included Benny Lynch, he was from Scotland, Panama Al Brown, he was the first Hispanic to become a world champion, Panama Al Brown. Now, because airlines lacked the structured schedules of the modern days, many boxers had to make their way to important fights by train. Okay? Now, In 1921, the National Boxing Association was formed. Okay, it was the predecessor of what is known now as the WBA. Tex Rickard talked about him yesterday. Oh, this seemed like about a week ago. Was it yesterday we did the promotions? Yeah. Now, Tex Rickard was the leading promoter of the day, right? And he has been compared to P.T. Barnum and Don King. Like a P.T. Barnum and Don King had a child, it would be Tex Rickard, I guess. Now let's look at some dates from the 1900s through 1920, okay? Now, on January 1st, 1900, okay, in the first fight of the 20th century, Kid McCoy knocked out Peter Marr in the 5th round, okay? Now, on January 9th, 1900, Terry McGovern was the last man to win a world championship in the 19th century, and he was the first man to win a world championship in the 20th century, okay? He stopped featherweight champion George Dixon. Okay, that's how he got his championship. The last man in the 19th century, first man in the 20th century. Terry McGovern. On March 4th, 1901, middleweight champion Tommy Ryan successfully defended his title against Tommy West after previously retaining his welterweight title against West in 1892, making him the only fighter to defend two different titles against the same challenger in different centuries. Isn't that something? Two different titles against the same guy in different centuries. Tommy Ryan. On September 7th, 1902, Bill Squires knocked out Peter Mills in 2 rounds. That was the last recorded fight with bare knuckles under the London prize ring rules. Last recorded fight under the bare knuckle before they started back up. I think it was 2018. Yeah, started back up in 2018. Sure did. Okay. On December 26, 1902, Battling Nelson. Now check this out. Battling Nelson, while being knocked down 7 times, knocked down Christy Williams 42 times, stopping him in the 17th round. Now the combined 49 total knockouts is the record for a single fight, okay? 49 knockouts in one fight. He went down 7, knocked his opponent down 42, and that's the record, 49. On February 3rd, 1903, Jack Johnson defeated Ed Martin in 20 rounds to win the Negro heavyweight title. Okay. November 25th, 1903, Bob Fitzsimmons defeated George Gardner in 20 rounds to win the light heavyweight title. Fitzsimmons was previously middleweight and heavyweight champion. The 3rd title made him boxing's first 3-division champion. Okay. 1903, boxing's first 3-division champion, Bob Fitzsimmons. December 8th, 1903, 2 black fighters that became boxing legends fought on this date. Sam Lightfoot defeated Joe Gans via 15-round decision. The 2 later would become good friends. And I could not get that fight to come up for anything yesterday. I wanted to see that bad. Sam Lightfoot and Joe Gans. Couldn't get it to come up. I got some other old ones, but I just couldn't get that one to come up. I don't know why. May 2nd, 1905. Heavyweight champion at the time, James Jeffries, announced his retirement from boxing. September 28th, 1905, Max Schmeling was born in Brandenburg, Germany. June 7th, 1906, James J. Braddock was born in New York City. Now, September 3rd, 1906, in Tex Rickard's promotional debut, Joe Gans defeated Battling Nelson in 42 rounds to retain the lightweight title. We talked about that yesterday. That was a fight where he 42 rounds and he broke his arm in the 34th round and he fought the last 8 rounds with one arm. A broken arm, yeah. Guys were some soldiers back in them days. Imagine that these guys nowadays fighting 42 rounds. I can't. September 1st, 1908. Tommy Burns knocked out Bill Lang in 6 rounds to retain his heavyweight title. The knockout was Burns' 8th consecutive in heavyweight title defenses, a record he shares with Larry Holmes, who tied it in 1981. That record still stands. 8 straight consecutive heavyweight title defenses. Tommy Burns and Larry Holmes. Here's the record. Okay. Now, November 1st, 1908. George Carpenter makes his professional debut at 14 years old. Okay? Winning on a foul over Ed Salmon in 13 rounds. Now, that was the guy, Ed, that you said started at featherweight, went to heavyweight. I can see now, because he was only 14 when he started, so I can see how he could be so light and then go through all those weight classes. Yeah. 14 years old starting, so yeah, I understand that perfectly now. Mm-hmm. December 26, 2008. Jack Johnson becomes the first African American to win the heavyweight title when he stopped Tommy Burns in 14 rounds. First African American, 2008. Jack Johnson win the heavyweight crown. Okay. Now, I believe Joe Gans had the light. He wasn't the first African American to win a title. I believe Joe Gans had the lightweight title before that. Yeah, because he was defending that in 2003 when he broke his arm in the 42 round fight. Remember? Yeah. So Jack Johnson was the first African American heavyweight champion, but he wasn't the first one to win a championship, a world championship. February 11th, 1909. Max Baer was born in Omaha, Nebraska. Omaha. So Bud ain't the first big-time boxer from Omaha. Former heavyweight champion Max Baer was also from Omaha. Okay. April 17th, 1909. Joe Jeanette defeated Sam McVeigh when McVeigh was unable to come out for the 50th round in what is the longest fight of the 20th century. 50 rounds. Nobody has stopped that. Okay, 50 rounds. June 19th, 1909. Monty Attell knocked out Frank Neal in the 18th round to win the vacant bantamweight title. Monty's brother Abe was the featherweight champion at the time, making them the first brothers to hold boxing titles at the same time. The Attell brothers. 1909, first brothers to hold 2 titles at the same time, way before the Charlo twins. October 16th, 1909, Jack Johnson knocked out Stanley Ketchel in the 12th round to retain his heavyweight title. After the fight, Ketchel's 2 front teeth were found embedded in Johnson's glove. Wow, that guy hit hard, didn't he? Found the man's teeth in his glove. Hey, well, at least he got him back. Well, he could save him or whatever, you know. July 4th, 19. Just like Evander got his ear back after Mike bit it off. This guy got his teeth back. It was in Jack's glove. July 4th, 1910. Jack Johnson talks James Jeffries before stopping him in the 15th round in Reno, Nevada. Race riots broke out afterwards, resulting in several deaths. Exactly. August 10th, 1910. Former lightweight champion Joe Gans dies from pneumonia and complications from tuberculosis at age 35 in Baltimore, Maryland. July 1st, 1913. While free on bail after being sentenced to 1 year in prison, Jack Johnson flees the United States for France and does not return. for 7 years. So Jack said, "No, y'all ain't locking me down. I'm out of here." August 22nd, 1913. Jess Willard knocks out William Bull Young in the 11th round. Young died later in the hospital. December 19th, 1913. In the first heavyweight title fight between two African Americans, Jack Johnson fought to a 10-round draw with battling Jim Johnson to retain his title. First heavyweight title fight between two African Americans, 1913. A lot of guys had that nickname back then, Battling. You notice that? Battling Nelson, Battling Jim Johnson was another battling too. Yeah. January 31st, 1914. Jersey Joe Walcott was born in Merchantville, New Jersey. And you would think he was named Jersey Joe Walcott because he's from New Jersey. But no, he was named Jersey Joe Walcott after this other guy named Jersey Joe, who's from Texas. So New Jersey didn't have anything to do with it. I always thought that too, but no, that's not how he got the name Jersey. March 26, 1915. Jack Britton and Ted Kid Lewis fought to a 10 rounds, no decision. This was the first fight between the two, who would end up facing each other a total of 20 times. Wow. I guess they knew each other just as well as anybody would know another fighter. They fought 20 times. That's just about the amount that some people fight total nowadays. And these two fought each other 20 times. July 27th, 1918. Jack Dempsey knocks out Fred Fulton in 18 seconds. 18 seconds. January 20th, 1919. Jack Dempsey was the heavyweight champion, won the heavyweight championship, and begins a reign of 7 years until 1926. Okay. Reigned 7 straight years without a loss, 1919 to 1926. Jack Johnson. January 14th, 1921, Benny Leonard retained his world lightweight title with a 6-round knockout of Richie Mitchell. Leonard was knocked down in the first round, causing his mother, who was at ringside, to faint. Okay? She couldn't take seeing her baby get knocked down. You can see what happened to him knocking somebody else down. She fainted when he got knocked down. July 2nd, 1921. Jack Dempsey retained the world heavyweight title with a 4th round knockout of George Carpenter in what was boxing's first $1 million fight, 1921. Old Tex promoted that one. Had to be Tex. February 15th, 1922. Ring Magazine was founded by Nat Fleischer. Okay, 1922. June 18th, 1923. Pancho Villa knocked out Jimmy Wild in 7 rounds to become the Philippines' first world boxing champion in history. Pancho Villa, first Filipino to win a world championship, 1923. July 14th, 1925. Pancho Villa passes away from blood poisoning. September 23rd, 1926. Jack Dempsey loses the heavyweight title to Gene Tunney after a reign of 7 straight years. July 31st, 1928. Heavyweight champion at the time, Gene Tunney, retires from boxing. Okay, let's go to the 30s. All right. Do a little brief summary of the 30s. Okay. Everybody all right this afternoon? Where's everybody today? Kind of slow today. But that's all good. Okay. Now, the sport of boxing in the 1930s was affected by one of the biggest economic struggles in the history of the United States. The Depression era. Now, because of the suffering American economy, many boxers were offered lower amounts of money, causing them to only box for passion. When the decade began, the world heavyweight title belonged to no one, okay? The sport of boxing suffered because of the lack of money to pay the boxer. So there was no world heavyweight champion. I did not know that. The 30s began, there was no world heavyweight champion. Wow. Now the heavyweights from 1930 to 1937 in particular could be compared to the heavyweight division of the 1980s. 6 champions were crowned before the Joe Louis began his legendary run as heavyweight champion in 1937. Yeah, 1980s did have a lot of champions. And the 30s was also like that. 6 champions in between 1930 to 1937. Okay. Now Joe Louis began his reign in 1937. He retired in 1949, still holding the title of World Heavyweight Champion. Still had a long run. He had it for the entire decade of the 40s. That's the only man to ever do that. Hold a championship for one solid decade. Okay. The boxing began expanding into Latin America in the 1930s. Sixto Escobar became the first world champion for Puerto Rico by defeating Baby Casanova. Baby Azamendi conquered the first world title for Mexico in 1934. For his part, Kid Chocolate became the first world champion from Cuba. Okay, all this happened in the 30s. 3 world champions won world titles in 3 different divisions. Okay. 3 world champions won world titles in 3 different divisions, a feat no single fighter had accomplished since 1903. Tony Canzoneri, Barney Ross, and Harry Armstrong cemented their place in boxing history by achieving the feat. Okay, those were the 3 fighters that won 3 titles in 3 weight classes. Tony Canzoneri, Barney Ross, and Harry Armstrong. Armstrong was the first and only world champion to reign in 3 divisions at the same time. Okay. Now, modern boxing rules ban boxers from holding the title in more than 1 division at a time. That's it. Katie Taylor was doing it. Katie Taylor was undisputed in 2 divisions. So that rule must have changed. Okay. But it says modern boxing rules ban boxers from holding the title in more than 1 division at a time. Yeah, Katie Taylor was just champion and she was undisputed at lightweight and junior welterweight. Okay. Lonnie Lee in the building. Salute, Lonnie Lee. Missed you yesterday, Lonnie. But you did get caught up at work. Lonnie Lee, hashtag JBT in the building. Salute. Okay, let's look at some highlights from the 1930s. Okay. Lonnie Lee, hashtag JBT is in the building. Salute, Lonnie Lee, hashtag JBT. Always a pleasure, bro. Okay, some highlights from the 1930s. Now, on June 11th, 1930, Max Schmeling won the undisputed heavyweight title, defeating Jack Sharkey by disqualification in the 4th round, becoming the first boxer to win a title by disqualification. July 17th, 1930, Al Singer wins the world lightweight title with a first-round knockout over Sammy Mandel, setting a record for the fastest fight in that division in history. November 14th, 1930, Tony Canzoneri won the lightweight title, knocking Al Singer out in the first round, making Singer the first world boxing champion in history to both win and lose the title by first round knockout. Okay. Because remember, Singer had just won the title on July 17th of 1930, knocking out Sammy Mandel in the first round. Then on November 14th, he lost it. Got knocked out in the first round by Tony Canzoneri. He was the first fighter to both win and lose a title by getting knocked out in the first round. And remember, He set the record for the fastest fight in history, and when he knocked the guy out in 1930. And that record was broke by the guy that knocked him out in the first round. Okay. So he was involved in all kinds of records in just those two fights in that 1 year. Al Singer was. July 13th, 1931. Kid Chocolate knocked out lightweight champion Benny Bass in 7 rounds to become Cuba's first world champion. Yeah, we went over that discovery. June 29th, 1933. Primo Carnera knocks out world champion Jack Sharp in 6 rounds in one of boxing's most controversial reigns in the history of the heavyweight division. It was widely rumored that many of Carnera's fights were fixed. Yeah, he had a very, very controversial reign as champion. Oh, you were there yesterday, Lonnie. I'm sorry. Yeah. Let's see. Oh man, I don't know. I missed you. I didn't even write you down on the roster. Nope, I don't have you, Lonnie. Yeah. Oh, you must. Did you chat yesterday, Lonnie? I don't remember seeing you. I appreciate it. You're always in here. Lonnie Lee. One of the JBTs, another big time loyal JBT member. Lonnie Lee, hashtag JBT. Okay. Now, on June 14th, 1934, Max Baer wins the heavyweight championship by 11th round knockout, dropping defending champion Primo Carnera 11 times. Wow. June 26, 1934, Sixto Escobar knocks out Baby Casanova in 9 rounds to win the Bantamweight Championship, becoming Puerto Rico's first world champion in history. Because remember, like I said in the summary, boxing really expanded in Latin America in the 1930s, and three guys from down there in those countries came. Heavyweight champion was the first one from their country to become heavyweight champion. Guy from Cuba, Escobar from Puerto Rico, and I think who was it? Baby, somebody from Mexico. We'll come to. January 1st, 1935. Here he is right here, 1935. Baby Azrimendi outpointed Henry Armstrong over 12 rounds to win the world lightweight title to become Mexico's first world champion in boxing history. Okay. Now, on June 19th, 1936, Max Schmeling gives Joe Louis his first loss by 12th round knockout in the first fight of their legendary rivalry. And those guys end up becoming good friends. Max Schmeling was a pallbearer at Joe Louis's funeral, in fact. Oh, I had somebody on the panel. Okay, Lonnie. Yeah. Sorry I missed you. But I added you to the roster from yesterday. And you're definitely on there today. Lonnie Lee, hashtag JBT. Appreciate you. Okay. On February 21st, 1937, in their rubber match, Sixto Escobar retained his world bantamweight title with a 15-round decision over Lou Salica in San Juan, Puerto Rico. This was the first world title fight ever held in Puerto Rico. So as soon as Escobar was the first Puerto Rican to win a title, so then I guess he decided, well, we better have some title fights down here. I got the title, On June 21st, 1937, Joe Louis knocked out James T. Braddock in the 8th round to become heavyweight champion of the world. After the fight, Louis said he can't consider himself as champion until he beats Max Schmeling in a rematch. Okay, which he later did. Okay, now on May 31st, 1938, Henry Armstrong became the first man to hold world titles in 3 different divisions at the same time when he beat Barney Ross for the World Welterweight Championship. Okay, they gave him his 3rd title. 3 divisions at the same time. Now, like I was just saying, Katie Taylor had 2. She was undisputed at lightweight and welterweight, junior welterweight. Now, she started dropping her titles at lightweight. I don't know if she dropped all of them, but I know she dropped a few of them. Salute, BN Boxing News, back in the building, okay? BN Boxing News was here first. BN Boxing News says salute to the KBT. Salute to BN Boxing News. Okay. Now. Okay. Henry Armstrong, yeah. On June 22nd, 1938, in the second fight of their famous rivalry, Joe Louis retains the world heavyweight title with a first round knockout of Matt Schmeling. Yeah, okay. So remember, he said he didn't consider himself champion. When he won the belt, he said he didn't consider himself champion until he knocked Matt Schmeling out in a rematch. He didn't waste no time. He knocked him out in the first round. Okay? Excuse me. On January 10th, 1939, Henry Armstrong defeated Baby Mendes by a 10-round decision to begin a run of 20 successful title defenses. And get this part. Okay? He began a run of 20 successful title defenses, all in the same year. Okay? 20 successful title defenses, all in one year. And like I was saying earlier, that's some of these guys nowadays entire careers, a little over 20 fights. This man made 20 title defenses in 1 year. Henry Armstrong. Now let's go to the 1940s. Look at a brief summary of it. First, I'm gonna drink some water though. Look at the 1940s. Brief summary and some highlights of some things that happened on some dates in the 40s. This is Cass Sports, the History Channel. You like history, boxing history, you're in the right place. Okay? You are in the right place for some boxing history today, for sure. Okay. 3 o'clock. 3 bells. 3 bells, everybody. Now, this might go into tomorrow. Okay. But if it does, it just does. Now, boxing in the 1940s, in many ways, reflected worldwide events that affected other endeavors as well. Anybody seen Al Booker? He wasn't in here yesterday either. He's normally here every day. Was he in the hangout? Well, we didn't have a hangout this day. Yeah, because he wasn't here yesterday, and I don't see him yet today. Where are you at, Al Booker? Get in here. Nope, you wasn't here yesterday. Okay, hope everything's okay. Now, boxing in the 1940s in many ways reflected worldwide events that affected other endeavors as well. Okay, World War II raged early in the decade, and just like baseballers, many popular boxers went overseas to fight for their countries. Not just Americans. Boxers all over the world went to fight for their country. Bruce Gass, boxing, jazz, and more. Salute. Well, how are you today, Bruce Gass? Welcome to another episode of Cass Sports, the History Channel. Bruce Gass, boxing, jazz, and more in the building. Salute. Salute. Okay. Now, yeah, a lot of boxers, just like all the other sports, went to fight for their countries, when World War II broke out. So, Joe Louis, Billy Conn, Bo Jack, not Bo Mack, Bo Jack, and Bob Montgomery among them. Okay, they were some of the Americans that went to fight for their countries. Now, Louis was used to to entice Americans. Now, Lewis was used to entice Americans to join the war against Germany. A couple of propaganda movies starring Lewis and many propaganda posters being produced. Okay. Yeah, he was used to entice Americans, not just fighters, all Americans. They tried to lose Joe Louis. Okay. Now, Lewis's great rival, Max Schmeling, a lifelong opponent of the Nazi regime. Okay, so Schmeling was an opponent of the Nazis. Now, he was German, but, he wasn't with the Nazis. Now, he was forced by Adolf Hitler to join the German military after his loss to Lewis at their 1938 rematch. Wow, I did not know that. Now, because of the war, many world championship divisions were frozen. Sometimes a title fight was held 5 years after the last title fight in that division had been held, okay? Sometimes you had to wait 5 years to get the next title fight. Now, television was in its infancy in the 1940s, but nonetheless, viewers were treated to many 10-round non-title fights, and many crown challengers became household names under the absence of so many world champions. I was wondering, why was there so many 10-round fights back then? But that was in the 40s around World War II time, because I know a lot of times back then, it was definitely 15 or more than 15 till somebody got knocked out or something or quit, But that was coming to an end around that time. But that's why there was a lot of 10-round fights in the 40s because of the war. A lot of the champions were gone. And a lot of them weren't title fights. Now, the 1940s did have some historic world title fights and rivalries. Sugar Ray Robinson and Jake LaMotta, they began their series of famous fights towards the middle of the decade. Bo Jack, and Montgomery, they fought 4 times in the 40s. And Rocky Graziano and Tony Zell starred in what boxing critics have often called one of the fiercest rivalries in boxing history. Now, the heavyweight division was dominated by Lewis, the only man in history to be world champion throughout every year of a decade. Yeah, like I was saying earlier. Yep, he held it for the entire decade of the 40s. Lost it in 49, but he did have it. Okay. Now, Lewis became the world champion in 1937 and kept the title until 1949. Now, Jake LaMotta lost a highly controversial fight to Billy Fox in 1947. And LaMotta later testified he drew the fight to earn a title shot at world middleweight champion Marcel Cerdan. Wow. Now let's look at some highlights from the 40s. Okay. How about that? Little highlights of some things, some historic or significant things that happened in the 40s. I was looking for that word significant and it just popped right in there. Wow. Yeah. Who else came in here? Nobody. Okay. Hope everybody enjoyed the show. Just a little boxing history, that's all. And some highlights of the decade. If you're in here, you must like boxing history. And I appreciate it. On February 5th, 1943, okay, in the second fight of their classic 6-fight rivalry, Jake LaMotta defeated Sugar Ray Robinson by a 10-round unanimous decision, okay? Now, this fight would be portrayed 37 years later in 1980 in LaMotta's biographic movie, Raging Bull. On August 4th, 1944, the War Bonds fight. $36 million is raised to fund the war effort as Bo Jack wins a 10-round decision over arch rival Bob Montgomery. I was just talking about them. Now, a few weeks later, they were both drafted in the Army on the same day. Wow. They raised all that money, then they got drafted on the same day. Bo Jack and Bob Montgomery. Remember, not Bo Mack, Bo Jack. Okay. Him and Bob Montgomery got drafted on the same day. Isn't that something, man? Okay. Now, there were only 2 world championship fights in 1945 because of World War II. Remember, I was just saying, everything kind of slowed up because of the war. Because a lot of fighters, not just American fighters, all over the world went to fight for their country. Because it was World War, remember? Everybody, a lot of fighters, and a lot of them was drafted. Like Bo Jack and Bob Montgomery, they got drafted on the same day. Now, February 24th, 1945, Sugar Ray Robinson and Jake LaMotta fight for the 4th time in their rivalry. And Robinson wins the 10-round unanimous decision in this one. And I think it might have been the second and third, or the third and fourth fights. Okay, it was fought like 3 weeks apart. Get what year it was, but this is the same year. They fought the second fight on February the 5th, and they fought the third fight on February the 27th. Isn't that something? 3 weeks apart. So they didn't, if you was using film, you wouldn't have had to use none for that fight, because you just fought him 3 weeks ago. He was crushing your mind. But isn't that something? 3 weeks apart. It was a rematch. Crazy, man. On September 28th, 1945, Rocky Graziano stopped Harold Green in 2 rounds. Green later claimed he was paid to lose the fight. Wow, wonder how much he made. December 20th, 1946, Sugar Ray Robinson becomes world champion for the first time, defeating Tommy Bell by a 15-round unanimous decision for the vacant World Welterweight Championship. Okay? I always thought he was champ. Well, he was champ. The last 2 fights he fought Jake for titles. Okay? First 4. Okay? It didn't happen. Interesting. I'm learning too. December 5th, 1947, Joe Louis retains his world heavyweight title for the 24th time with a 15-round split decision over Jersey Joe Walcott on his 24th title defense. On February 20th, 1948, tragedy strikes as Ezzard Charles defeats Sam Berardi by a knockout in the 10th round. Berardi died the next day as a consequence of the blows he received during the fight. Okay. March 20, well, that's the sport. I've heard the guy Kazuki, what was his name? I forgot his name. Yamaguchi or something like that went into that coma. He was on the Monsters last card when the Monster got undisputed over Marlon Tapales. I can't find any information about him. Last I heard, he was about 2 weeks ago. He was still in the coma. It was a medically induced coma. Okay, he had some kind of complications. Some kind of brain damage, and he had a brain surgery done that first day he went in there. But I haven't heard anything about him. It's hard to find information. That's strange. So I don't know. I'm trying to find out when I get off of what his condition is. I forgot the guy's name. Okay, on March 23rd, 1948, Brenty Monahan unifies the world flyweight title with a 7th round knockout win over Jackie Patterson. Okay. Then check this out. Okay. Brenty Monahan unifies the world flyweight title with a 7th round knockout over Jackie Patterson. Then he gets accidentally knocked out himself by a well-wisher at the after party. Boy, that must have been an after party there. He knocked this man out during the fight, and he got knocked out at the after party. Ooh, crazy, ain't it? I had to throw that in there. June 25th, 1948. Joe Louis retained his heavyweight title for the 25th and final time, knocking out Jersey Joe Walcott again in the 11th round this time. And that was their rematch, okay? 25 title defenses is the record for any division in boxing, and it still stands to this day, okay? The 24th and 25th title defenses were both against Jersey Joe Walcott. Okay, now on March the 1st, 1949, okay, excuse me for a minute, please. Okay, March 1st, 1949, Joe Louis announces his retirement after 11 years as world heavyweight champion, and his record, 25 title defenses. Okay, but unfortunately, he didn't stay retired. Came back and got beat twice. Matter of fact, Rocky Marciano knocked him out. Okay, but that's later down here. I got that in here. On March 1st, 1949, Manuel Ortiz retained his world bantamweight title with a 15-round unanimous decision over Dado Marino for his 18th title defense. Now that was a division record in bantamweight division, okay? And I guess it's got to still be. I can't think of anybody that's defended down in bantamweight 18 times, yeah. And that's the record is held by Manuel Ortiz. Okay. Now, on October 27th, 1949, Marcel Cerdan dies when his plane crashes when he was flying from France to the United States for a fight with Jake LaMotta. Yep, I remember that. Well, I wasn't born then, but I'm saying I remember, reading about that. Yeah, Marcel's plane crash. Where we at now? The 1950s? Yeah. Getting into me and Bruce Gass decade. Man, we were born. I'm sorry, Bruce, I didn't mean to tell your age. Yeah. I was born at the end of the 50s, though. Okay. Boxing in the 1950s. Okay. Everybody doing okay out there? That's good. Appreciate you hanging in there with me for a little history lesson. That's all. That's how we do it over here. Boxing in the 1950s. Boxing in the 1950s. Okay. Now, a couple of relatively new developments changed the world. World War II had only been over for 5 years when the 1950s began. And television was beginning to make a major impact internationally in boxing, right? Changes connected to these developments could be seen too, as boxers who fought at the 1940s conflict returned to their homes, and many of them were back in the ring. By the 50s, television producers were in love with sports, which provided the viewer with an opportunity to observe sporting events live, and boxing was not the exception to the rule. Many television networks began to feature fights live during the weekends, and the Gillette Friday Night Fights proved to be one of the most popular boxing television series in American history. The Gillette Friday Night Fights. No, I don't remember that. I wasn't around then. Okay. Somebody probably thinking that in the chat. I wonder if Cass remember that. Gillette Friday Night Fights back in the early 50s. No, I don't remember that. First time I ever heard of it. But what is Gillette? The razors? Yeah. They sponsored Friday Night Fights. Okay. Now, the dawn of the jet airplane era in 1958 also helped boxing expand worldwide, with airplanes flying faster and more frequently between cities far away from each other. More and more world title fights began to be fought outside the United States. Vic Tawi became South Africa's first world boxing champion. Jimmy Carrazos did the same for Australia. Pascual Perez was the first from Argentina. Yoshio Yoshio Shirai, who was beaten by Perez, won Japan's first world title. And Hogan Bassi won the first belt for Nigeria. Yeah, because the airplane is flying faster, and age of the jet airplane and going to all these different places, and now boxing is expanding, and all these other countries are getting world champions and stuff now. Okay, because it was primarily the United States and England, early in the decade, the champions. Australia might have had a few in there, but primarily the United States and England, had a monopoly on the championships in boxing. But now, as we got into the late 50s, early 60s, we started getting more champions from other places around the world. Okay. Now, popular American fighters in the 1950s proved legendary. Sugar Ray Robinson would still win and lose world titles. Rocky Marciano became the only heavyweight world champion in history to retire with a perfect record, and still is. Tyson Fury has perfect heavyweight champion record, but he's not retired yet. So Rocky Marciano is the only one so far. Okay. Jersey Joe Walcott, the oldest heavyweight champion until George Foreman regained the title in 1994. Archie Moore broke the all-time knockout record, as well as the record for the oldest champion at 48. Yeah, but Archie Moore got it at light heavyweight, I believe. Yeah. For any division, right? Yeah, Archie Moore was at light heavyweight. Jersey Joe had it for heavyweights until Foreman broke it. Archie had it for boxing, period, at 48. Edgar Charles proved to be a reliable substitute for Joe Louis as heavyweight champion, and Floyd Patterson emerged as the youngest heavyweight champion in history. Coincidentally, he beat Moore for the title, left vacant by Marciano. Patterson remained the youngest heavyweight champion in history until November 22nd, 1986, and you know who got it then. 20-year-old Mike Tyson came on the scene, defeated the 31-year-old WBO heavyweight champion Trevor Berbick by TKO in round 2. Now, the dark side of boxing once again emerged. Jake LaMotta alleged at a hearing that he had thrown a fight with Billy Fox in exchange for a try at the world middleweight title. And Jim Norris, an important promoter of the time, was associated with Blinky Patermo and Frankie Carbo, 2 mafia members of the time. Yeah, I did a thing on them too, remember, a while back. Yeah, how the mafia got mixed up into it. Yeah. And this is not, I'm not going to finish this today, I don't think, but it's going to continue into tomorrow. Okay. Now let's look at, I'm going to go up to like the 70s and then cut it off for today, okay? Now let's look at some highlights that happened in the 1950s. That's the show we all okay with. No. Okay. If you want me to continue tomorrow, I will. Okay, now, highlights of the 50s. What's the lights looking like? 14. Today is slow. Yeah, I noticed that in the chat too. Where is everybody? Where's Al Booker and Thomas Hill, Tim Layton, GP, Ernest Johnson? I said like 6 or 7 of my guys is not in here. Where's Mr. Gillette? There's like 8 people that's normally in here that's not in here. And that's right on the money. 14 likes, 14 and 8 is 22. That's what I usually get. Yeah, I named all the people that's missing. There's the Al Booger right there. What's up, Al Booger? Oh, you're a warrior today. Okay. Cool. Hope you enjoyed the show. You warriory. Ain't nothing wrong with that. Ain't nothing wrong with that. I do that sometimes. I do that during the old time show now, so everybody will be worrying me to get up there. I voyeur on Sundays. Okay, now where are we? The 50s, right? Some highlights that happened in the 1950s, I believe. Yeah. Now on March the 24th, 1950, and the closest Rocky Marciano was probably ever to losing, he squeezed by on a 10-round split decision win for with Rolling Stars. Yeah, that was Rocky. Closest he came. Like everybody always say, Floyd's was Castile. I think it was Oscar. I think Oscar was Floyd's closest call. Yeah. But Rocky's was Tony Stars, and he squeezed by on a split decision. Okay. 15 rounds. March 24th, 1950. Yeah. Rocky Marciano. I did a profile on him. Yeah. I like Rocky. February 14th, 1951. The St. Valentine's Day Massacre. Sugar Ray Robinson and Jake LaMotta finished their 6-fight boxing rivalry when Robinson wins the undisputed world middleweight title, knocking LaMotta out in the 13th round. Okay, July 18th, 1951. At the age of 37, Jersey Joe Walcott becomes the oldest world heavyweight champion in boxing history, knocking out Ezzard Charles in 7 rounds. Walcott held that record for 44 years. Big George Foreman broke it in 1994 at, I don't know, Foreman was what, 40-something. Then B-Hop broke Foreman's record because B-Hop was in his 50s, I believe. B-Hop holds the record for oldest fighter to win a world championship. Foreman holds it for oldest heavyweight, of course. Yeah. There's Thomas Hill in the building. There come my people coming in here late today. Go to the principal's office, Thomas Hill. You late. Okay. Go to the principal's office and sit in the corner. Don't talk. But salute Thomas Hill, hashtag JBT. The mayor of YouTube Boxing. Thomas Hill, hashtag JBT in the building. Okay. Doing a little history lesson on boxing. I'm going decade by decade, and then a summary, and then some highlights of some historic things or some significant things that happened on certain dates. And right now we're in the 50s, and I'm at July 18th, 1951. No, I'm not neither. That was about Jersey Joe Walcott, George Foreman, all those people, B-Hop, the older guys with the records. I'm at October 26, 1951. Joe Lewis's last fight as he got knocked out by the up-and-coming Rocky Marciano. I was just talking about Rocky. March 13th, 1952. Sugar Ray Robinson retains his world welterweight title, defeating Carl Olson by 15 rounds, unanimous decision. Robinson donated all of his earnings for this fight except $1 to the Damon Runyon Cancer Fund. May 19th, 1952. Yoshio Shirai became Japan's first world champion in boxing history, defeating Dado Marino by a 15-round unanimous decision for the world flyweight title. Or is that Dado? D-A-D-O. Dado, whatever. That's who Yoshio Shirai beat to become Japan's first boxing champion. Oh, Dado or Dado. Okay. June 25th, 1952. Sugar Ray Robinson again. Sugar Ray Robinson suffers from heat exhaustion, okay, and loses by stoppage for the only time in his career when Dr. Alexander I. Schiff ordered him not to continue after round 13 of his challenge of world light heavyweight champion Joey Maxson under 104-degree heat. Both Robinson and the referee Ruby Goldstein had to be hospitalized after the fight. Goldstein had to leave the fight before Robinson in round 10, and he had to be replaced by another referee, Ray Miller, for the rest of the fight. To 104 degrees, wow, that was rough. The referee ordered Sugar Ray not to continue, and that was the first time he got stopped, due to the heat. Wow, okay. Yeah, I'm gonna take this to the 70s and then cut it off. I wanna if Remo is still around, get a look at Javaro's hashtag Let's Talk Fashion. Okay. Now, September 23rd, 1952, Rocky Marciano becomes a world heavyweight champion with what many have referred to as the greatest punch in boxing history, knocking out Jersey Joe Walcott in the 13th round. You know, how they always saying, well, you know, like a tank fight. The other guy has to be perfect for 12 rounds and all tank needs is one. Jersey Joe had to be perfect because Rocky was built like that. And Jersey Joe was leading on all three cards in round 13. And then Rocky got that one in. That was all she wrote. It was over. Had a new champion. You know? Yeah. All Rocky had to do was get that one in. And he bided his time and he got it in. And it's known as the greatest punch in boxing history. Well, it used to be. Anyway. Okay. November 17th, 1954. Jimmy Carter joins the exclusive group of boxers who have been world champions in the same division 3 or more times. Okay. Knocking out Patty DeMarco in the 15th round to win the lightweight title for the third time. Okay. So he's one of the guys that won the same title 3 times, same division 3 times. And 54, yeah, it was part of the NBA or the New York State Athletic Commission title. That's all we had at that time. The NBA, which became the WBA, and the New York State Athletic Commission title. There was no WBC, WBO, IBF, none of those at that time. WBA neither. The NBA became the WBA in 62, but yeah. Okay, now, February 24th, 1955. African-American I.H. Sporty Harvey, who had successfully challenged boxing segregation in court, fights Buddy Turman in the first legal interracial boxing match in Texas. Wow. 1955, okay. That was Texas, though, because they had been having that, you know, interracial boxing matches way back in the 1900-something in other places. That was just Texas. I did not know that before this earlier today when I was putting my notes in there. September 21st, 1955. Rocky Marciano fights for the last time, beating Archie Moore by a knockout in the 9th round and retiring undefeated. Rocky's final record was 49 wins, no losses, 43 by knockout, and the only heavyweight champion to finish his career undefeated. And that still stands to this day. Okay. No other heavyweight champion has retired undefeated. Like I said, now Tyson Fury is the undefeated heavyweight champion, but he hasn't retired. Okay. Matter of fact, he got a fight coming up with oh man, what's the guy's name? The Ukrainian guy. Damn. Usyk. Yeah, Usyk. I always forget his name for some reason. Yeah, Joe Louis didn't have no business still in there, T Hill, you know. Yeah. Boxing matches. Yeah. Yeah, sound bizarre. Okay. I'll say fights then, Albert. How about that? Now, December 9th, 1955. Sugar Ray Robinson joined with, yeah, Sugar Ray Leonard's coming later. Probably tomorrow. Be talking about him. December 9th, 1955. Sugar Ray Robinson joins the exclusive group of fighters who have been world champions in 3 or more. Wait. 3 or more world champion 3 or more times in one division, winning the world middleweight title for the 3rd time with a 2nd round knockout of Carl Olsen. Yeah, he's not a 3 division champion. 3 championships. He won the same title 3 times. See, that's the difference. I was going to say a 3 division champion. No, he just 3 champion in one division 3 times. April 27th, 1956. Rocky Marciano officially retires April 27, 1956. November 30th, 1956, Floyd Patterson becomes the world heavyweight champion. Floyd Patterson becomes the youngest world heavyweight champion in history at 21 years old, a record he held until 1986, before Mike Tyson got it. And Patterson knocked out Archibald in the 5th round to get that record. May 1st, 1957, Sugar Ray Robinson wins the world middleweight title for a record, 4th time. Wow, breaking his own record. Knocking out Gene Fullmer in the 5th round with a punch that became known as the perfect punch. March 25th, 1958, Sugar Ray Robinson breaks his own record, becoming world middleweight champion for the 5th time, defeating Carmen Basilio by a 15-round split decision. Man, how many times did he become middleweight champion? What was he, losing it on purpose just so he could win it back? He's up to the 5th time. Wow. So he must have lost it a record amount of times too. If he won it the record amount of times, right? Goes hand in hand. If he won it the record amount of times, he had to lose it a record amount of times. But they don't mention that. That's Sugar Ray we talking about. Okay, I say boxing match. I'm old. Thomas Hill and Al Booger. Okay. Okay, June 20. Well, no, that's in the 1960s. What time is it? It's 3:30. When should I start the 60s? I'm going to start the 60s tomorrow. Okay. I'm going to drop the link and chop it up for the rest of the show. How about that? Okay. We wanted to see you about tomorrow's hashtag Let's Talk Fashion, but I don't know if Remo is still in here. But how is everybody today, man? No, you're good, Al, brother. You know I got to mess with you. But everybody doing okay this Tuesday afternoon? We got boxing early this time. Thursday. You know, like I was saying at the top before everybody came in, wouldn't it be nice if we had like Wednesday or Thursday boxing every week? And this is right on time because we don't have a pro box this week, right? So that Thursday is right on time. I hope Top Right starts doing that more, you know, because they gave it to us with Shakur. That was what, around November or something. So yeah, I like it. The Thursday night fights, man. We got a couple Friday night ones too. Let me get this link in there. We got a couple Friday night fights coming up too. Where's my link? There we go. Everybody enjoying the history lesson? I'm going to start at the 60s and finish it up tomorrow. Now, if I'm boring you to death and you don't want to hear anymore, just let me know and then I won't do it. Here comes the link in there. I must have bored Remo and he left. But we got a hashtag Let's Talk Fashion coming up tomorrow. I think it's the 5th one. First one with the new production crew Remo's got. Yeah. So that should be interesting. Yeah. Beautiful day once again in Baltimore, Maryland. This weather has been beautiful. Just a little snow, but it hasn't been bad at all. We got the Super Bowl coming up next weekend. This weekend. What am I talking about? Yeah. I got Kansas City. They put my Ravens out. Yeah. The Ravens had the better team on paper, but you got to be the better team in between those lines on that field. When the games start, you just throw the paper in the trash. You know what I mean? And Kansas City just showed that they were the team that had been in the conference championship game 6 years straight. And the Ravens showed they were the team that had only had one guy on the roster that had ever played, at that level. It all showed, man. And yeah, we're gone. I still say we. Very successful season. But now that they've been there, you got to take that next step next year, right? You got to take that next step next year. Look, here comes the link. We got like 25 minutes. I always put it in right now that Jay Hardcore put me down with some secrets to it. What you think, Thomas? Kansas City or who are they playing? San Francisco. That's out your way in it, T Hill. San Francisco. I got Kansas City. How many does Mahomes have now? Is it 3? I know he's been there like 6 times. So this would be 4. We're gonna mess around and run Tom Brady down. Yeah. Mahomes gonna mess around and run Tom Brady down. Yeah. And then he'll be the GOAT. Now, Tom Brady will always be the GOAT. Tom Brady has that Michael Jordan mentality, man. They say. I saw a little thing on him the other day, and he was so competitive, walking up and down the sideline, telling his teammates, "We got this." Even when they remember the year they was behind at halftime, 28-3 to Atlanta, he was still walking up and down trying to pump them up, and they came back. Remember, and won it. There's Thomas T. Hill. What's up, Thomas Hill? What's going on?
Drop the link for us to come up and chop. I'm gonna come up here and chop. Always got to support my guy. You know what I'm saying? Hey, I think that KC is gonna win the game through. I wouldn't. Go ahead.
No, go ahead and finish.
No, go ahead.
No, I'm just gonna say how many that Mahomes had. That's all.
Mahomes, I think he has 2. I think he lost 1 and won 2.
Yeah.
I think it's going to be tough because San Fran has a pretty good defense. They haven't been playing like it in the playoffs, but things have a way of working itself out in that Super Bowl game. So you never know.
Yeah. They've been doing enough to get by. You know what I mean? They've been doing enough to get by.
They have been. And then on top of that, on offense, they have 3 legit home run threats at all levels.
Oh, yeah.
They got a wide receiver, and they got 2, but they got 1 that's really a big playmaker. They got a running back that's a big playmaker, and they got a tight end that's a big playmaker. He isn't that good, but if he can have a decent game, then he has weapons around him.
Whereas he got to be a game manager. Don't lose the game for him.
Whereas all Mahomes really has is like some supporting cast people around him and then that tight end.
You know what, Thomas? They say this has been Mahomes' best year with the team he's got around him. This has been the best he's played because this is not the best team this is probably the worst team he's had, but he still got him there,
Yeah, shout out my guy Al Booger too, man. Yeah, we got a torrential storm going on. It's been raining for 2 weeks. It's been raining at least a good portion of it, but we've gotten 5 straight days of just consistent rain. So it's coming down. I'm not mad at it, but had some back tire issues, and boy, I was on the freeway just slipping and sliding. You remember that green machine, big wheel, a long time ago? You could hook slide. Yeah. I was out there hook sliding out there on that freeway, busting donuts on the freeway. But I believe when you look at it, though, when you really look at it, it's like if I'm banking everything on one position, if it's a position, then it's the quarterback. If it's a team, it's defense. If it's
Yeah.
going on one position, I can't see Purdy
No.
outshining Mahomes. I know
No.
because I'm an Eagle fan, and I saw what he did to the Eagles. I seen him do a last-second comeback with 30 seconds left. So it's going to be tough for him to, especially if he does what they did with the dang Seahawks when they tried to make, you know, the Falcons, they tried to make the quarterbacks the bigger star. You let the team that plays the way the team plays to win a game. And if you don't do that, you try to make it personal. You try to make it like, I'm going to let my quarterback outshine your quarterback, then that's when it's going to become a problem. Stick to the run game, play defense.
Purdy just can't lose the game.
Yeah, he can't lose the game.
Let's see what Remo's talking about, man. For this, let's talk fashion for tomorrow morning. What's up, Remo?
What's going on? I'm over here talking. I'm on mute.
Oh, okay.
No, I got a good one for you tomorrow, man.
Okay.
My new producers, you know.
Yeah.
They sat me aside and we watched the show over a couple of times, and we, you know, put a few edits in and got a few talking points. So tomorrow's episode is basically leveraging an athlete's likeness to making money outside of their field of work, whether it be on the court, whether it be on the field, boxing ring, whatever. Leveraging those fans that you have, like a Ryan Garcia, how he has multiple endorsement deals, and the importance of having endorsement deals for generational wealth.
Okay, and, that's interesting.
I also have my first guest, who is a stylist and a personal shopper out here in New York. So he gives a little insight of what that field of work is when it comes to dealing with celebrities and athletes, and the personal style and the eye of, you know, somebody who knows nothing about fashion being, you know, created by somebody else, and then some of these people actually being real fashionable in themselves. And you know, I don't want to give them too much, but it's a good episode. It's a good watch.
It sounds good. Yeah, that sounds interesting.
We actually got, this time we heard the crowd. You know, people been engaging. We got 40-something minutes of airtime for tomorrow, so to keep you busy after we get off J Hardcore. So, you know, we got a lengthy one for everybody to watch.
Yeah, we go right into you here from the hangout.
Like we said,
40 minutes, okay.
That was crazy. Right into me. Like, you're not doing that.
No.
I'm teasing.
So what's up? Are you still coming on at 10, right? Or you going to make a...
Of course. No.
Okay.
10 o'clock we'll be live. The live chat. Everybody, you know, could jump in and have conversations while it's going on. It's just I like the engagement, because people been really giving their intake on, like, their era versus, you know, crazy shit kids might wear today, and then the kids might tap in and give an insight that, man, y'all old dudes still wearing big baggy pants. So it's like good banter, man.
Okay, that sounds good though. Yeah, 10 o'clock tomorrow, everybody.
I'm actually back in the studio tonight. Getting another one done, man. This stuff is hard work, man. I can't imagine y'all do this every day. I lose my mind.
I used to have the whole week set up, you know, when Monday come. I did.
Homework.
You got the good
I didn't have everything all set, but I'd have an outline of what each day going to be, you know. Yeah.
Let's get boxing. Just do
boxing. What's up, bro?
Fire show this morning.
That's my guy this morning, man. He got patience, though. He got patience, bro.
Yeah, just do that.
Hey, you did see it start wearing thin. Every now and again, KB start creeping in.
Yeah, that guy was giving me
every now and again.
That man is just, you know, too Devin, man. You know, it's a point where it gets to be called fanboying, man. You know, I could.
That's the thing. It's like
patience, man.
How can you be like he was talking about just in general in life, like. You can't say you want something without making the necessary movements, sacrifices, doing whatever is necessary to make sure you put yourself along in that path. And a person, because it was going against what Haney is about, was like, nah, that's cap. And I'm like, bro, you disagree with what he just said?
He said, that's my opinion. That's your opinion.
Right.
So I just want to know, and I would want to talk to homie, be like, yo, do you actually believe the stuff that you're saying, or you just getting it off? Like, I mean, it's a difference. If you're getting it off and you trolling, that's a whole different story.
Yeah,
but
he's
if
a
you really
fanboy.
believe, if you really believe that and you're that strong-headed about like there is no other way but one way, I don't know if you're a logical human being.
Yeah. Because one thing, Devin defense ain't nowhere near Shakur's defense. And he's just going to sit there. That's when I left. That defense is the same. No way, man. Not even close. But, just pro Devin. That's all. You can't argue with him. Knockout said it perfect. You're wasting your time arguing with him, man. Waste of time.
I like Knockout. Knockout was like, let me talk, and he get it off, and he make it sound like he got the southern accent and all of that. And he's like, he just dropped the mic and walk off. That shit is funny.
Yeah. But salute to Just Do Boxing, man.
Exactly.
He got the perfect name, Just Do. Yep.
He be trying, but don't get it fooled. That boy's still from Jersey. I could feel it every once in a while.
Yeah. That was the
not only that, I mean, when a person tell you I'm not that nice, that lets you know, man, they're exercising great patience and trying to be like what the moniker is. Just about giving boxing its just due, because it ain't about you. It ain't about the person you rock with. It's about the sport and growing the sport to the point where we want it to be. Yeah. And I understand that that's his platform, and it's like you allow people to come on to have educated boxing talk. Yes. But when that stuff starts to turn to fanboyism, it gets really, really frustrating. And he held extreme patience today because a man got told something that is very valid. It's like somebody telling you something. If it would have been Bill Haney saying the same shit, would have been canonized. But because Justice saying it don't make sense. And I'm like, bro, you just disagree with what he said? Like, nothing he said was unfactual. And then furthermore, nothing KO said, nothing Ricky Williams said, nothing Crush said was factual. I mean, unfactual. It was all founded with factual states and bases. And the man just kept saying, nah, that's your opinion. That's your opinion. That's cat.
I heard Bill was paying people to put out talking points. I can believe it listening to that guy, man. I can believe it. Because some of the stuff he was saying, he can't believe it himself. It's like he's just somebody paying him to say it or something. Come on, man. Everybody
gotta be. But like I said, I understand for him it's necessary because they feel they got a superb product and it's not moving. It's like Remo make good stuff, but if it ain't moving, I gotta switch up and do something different to get buzz about my product so people can have eyes on it. Yeah. And that's what he's trying to do that. And I understand it. But niggas taking for literally, like, nah, dog. Figuratively, he's speaking. He's not literally speaking anything. He's talking around. He's answering. Every time he gives you an answer, it's a dance. He does the mamba, the salsa, the merengue. He do all that ish around the damn answer instead of just giving you the straight answer. That lets you know it's something more at play. And what he's doing, and they still hold to it. And like I say, man, I ain't gonna sit here and say Tank ain't never said something that wasn't true. He get up in there and he be messing around too. Yeah. But I know that his people usually don't do the goofy stuff. They usually don't. Now they may say some stuff that I don't agree with. Cause hell, I definitely don't agree with him not fighting Shakur and not fighting Devin. I don't agree with that. Especially when I believe firmly he's gonna knock both of them out. But at the same time, I want to hear you saying, well, making a reason for these people to have fodder to talk about. But like I say, it's not the people who make the fights that's doing the talking. It's people who either train, support and root, or write or comment about that's doing all this talking. The people that's making the fights happen, they not doing this talking.
No, they're not saying anything. You know, they making the fight. You know.
See, but the thing is with all of that, right?
Mm-hmm.
What people not really giving the honest truth is that they over marinate in this fight. Like, people are ready to see it. They damn near arguing with each other, getting their points across, forcing the issue that, you know what I mean, this person isn't this person, that person isn't that person. When it's like, if it take any longer, the people gonna be fighting. Forget the fighters.
I'm serious. You're right about that.
So it's like, you know what I mean, just throw it in the air, man. See where it stick, because eventually you got to change that narrative that two black fighters, because at the end of the day, it ain't that much great Mexican fighters or different fighters out of the country that's really going to like push the narrative of, you know, they're gonna beat a black fighter. That whole rock'em sock'em come forward shit, all right, cool, it works at some point in time, but when you start getting danced on and pivoted and all that, they can't keep up.
Yeah.
So rather than push that whole narrative of two black fighters, same market shit, just see what it do when you get two of the same black fighters at their peak.
Yeah, I think that want to be
that.
Mm-hmm.
When the last time we got two black fighters at their very peak, their apex of their career?
It's been a while. A good while.
You know what I'm saying? The whole Zab and Floyd, he already lost by then. And you know, the luster
and Hearn.
Yeah, like, we need it now. Like, Bud and them took so long to happen.
I know.
So it's like,
Sugar Ray and Hearn's about the last time.
Let's not see that again. Give it to the people what they want. And then, you know, it'd be less arguing. Motherfuckers ready to kill each other over this shit, man. It's crazy.
Tyson and Holyfield, they were both in their prime, but Tyson,
it's crazy.
Tyson wasn't the same Tyson by the time before Holyfield, though. You know, I
was on another platform yesterday. We was saying the same exact point, but I guess I wasn't aggressive enough for my argument. The homie was arguing with me. I'm like, bro, we saying the same thing in different terms.
Yeah, and that's another thing too, man. I don't agree that your point is valid because you got aggression in it.
Yeah,
you know what I'm saying. You could scream, holler, talk tough all damn day. That don't make what you're saying more valid than what if I'm saying something. What makes it valid is the fact that it's substantiated by fact.
See the benefit of me having a more let's say casual spin to my thing, because I'm worried about the financial part of it. How does this shit make money? Like, that shit intrigues me more than anything, because talent could be taught in the gym and heart is just what you're born with, right?
Mm-hmm. That's right.
But the difference is when you have talent and heart and you put this shit together, it becomes a business.
Put it together.
So now with the business, how do you make money out of something that they say is dying? That's what I'm kind of more intrigued by. Mm-hmm. Like, you see sports are sports. They're gonna have generational talent. They come once in a generation. Guess what? When it's done, they get old and they age out, and then it's the next group of people. That happens in every sport. Forget about just boxing. That happens in everywhere in the world. That shit happens. The difference is, did you make money for the talent that you was while you were hot? That's what matters.
Yeah. And what you doing tomorrow? You make money outside of your sport, you know? That's important.
Listen, if Devin wasn't promoted by his pops to the point where he was force feeding the people to be forced to like go along with what Bill says, and they just attached to him as a talent, it would work in so much better favor for him, because he'll really be the people's champion. Like,
yeah,
Tank is an entertaining guy, but he's giving us everything that we want without the theatrics.
Yeah, I know.
That's what's missing from him. It's like he's telling us what he is and how we should view him, but like I say all the time, the people make that decision, not him.
And then everything Bill said, some people just take it and run with it, man, like it's fact. And Bill knows that he can just put anything out there and it's going to become a talking point.
He do too much talking.
That's the gospel.
I think he do a little too much pandering to the let's say the smaller audiences. Like I get it, but you know, sometimes the mystique of Tank is greater than like him as a boxer as well. Because when you can't really get next to somebody and garnish somebody's attention, it's so hard to really like, you know what I'm saying?
Yeah. And Devin is trying too hard to be something, you know, just be natural with it.
Well, also too, to add on top of that, because that's so true.
But it's like if you was approaching. Hold on.
I ain't hear a house phone in years.
Hey, I can't never say I missed that phone call. Hey,
yeah.
Yo, if you approach a woman and you fill her with all kind of nonsense that ain't true, and you say all kind of things, you try to downplay her, and this and that, like they do to get the fight. You're not going, more times than not, you're not gonna get a date with that person. How you trying to get a fight date by doing all this shenanigans? Like it don't work that way in no facet of life.
Nope.
You can't be engaged in a situation and be like, hey, yo, I want to be with you. Although we know you got like 3 other engagements going on.
Right.
I can make time for you though. At any given time, I can do, and this is with somebody who's notoriously known for suing folks for tampering.
Yeah.
So it's like, yo, I mean, I don't think Devin is afraid to get in the ring with Tank.
No.
I do not believe that at all.
No.
I'm not sure that he really believes he can beat Tank because he was in that sparring session. And I don't care what anybody say.
Yeah.
You don't lose the sparring session but get taken all around the world on yachts and planes trying to get signed. I mean, it just don't make sense to me.
That's a good point. He was in there. None of us, nobody else. Devin was in that ring with Tank, so he knows.
You're under Mayweather banner, and then all of a sudden, it ain't even about you no more. It's about the dude you just mollywopped up in the ring. But yeah, I'm gonna have to fall out graciously. I appreciate your time, Cass. Always love for the good brother Remo. Can't wait to see.
And Remo, yeah.
See the little spot you got for us tomorrow. 45 minutes of fame.
You know what they say, don't meet me there, beat me there.
Oh yeah.
For sure.
I'm going there with you.
All right, my good brother.
Anybody hear about anything with Jay? He didn't come on this morning, right? You did an emergency or something?
I think
I gotta call him up and see.
He was in the group chat though.
Okay. Cool.
I don't know if he's gonna go on today, but you know, he commented in the group chat.
We haven't heard from him. Okay, cool. All right, y'all. I appreciate y'all again.
All right, man. Keep educating us, man.
Yes, sir. Did y'all like it? Because I still got some more for tomorrow. I only got to the 60s.
Listen, man, I'm learning. I'm learning as we go, man.
I'm gonna finish it up then. Okay, I appreciate you, Remo. Thomas Hill. We're gonna get ready to get on up out of here then. Okay, let me do my little roll call. Just Do Boxing. Thomas Hill, hashtag JBT. Al Booger. Bruce Gas, Boxing, Jazz, and more. Lonnie Lee, hashtag JBT. Remo, hashtag JBT. Hashtag Let's Talk Fashion. Another fire episode tomorrow at 10 a.m. Be there. Mike Masick, BN Boxing News, Ant McQueen, and BN. Oh, that's the Boxing Menu podcast. Then BN Boxing News. All right. And everybody, appreciations to Thomas Hill and Remo, hashtag JBT, for coming to the panel today and helping me finish the show off. And this is Cass Sports. Appreciate everybody for continuing to rock with my growing channel. Everybody have a great day.